Back to Raid Shadow Legends. We do have all the information on Zavia and Eleanor, and it is 100% accurate now. Do we need attack? Do we need critical damage? What happens when Helm Smasher, decreased defense, weaken? We have all that information for you. We're also going to do a naked run with Zavia at the end, and we're going to go over all the stuff that we did today. And I'm going to pull up this spreadsheet that has all the information. We're going to read over all of that, and it will all be clear to you. So Zavia's skill here is very misleading. Poison debuffs will only deal half the standard damage when this skill hits a boss. That is actually for every single champion out there that does Poison Explosion. This is how it works. So this right here needs to be written on all the other champions, because people think that Eleanor will do more damage on bosses because this is here. But actually Zavia is doing more damage because of these right here. The extra skills. 5%, 5%, and 10%. Zavia is doing 20% more damage on her Poison Explosions compared to Eleanor. And this is why. These are split up into two different attacks, but they're still getting a 20% increase. This first attack in yellow is totally separate than the red Poison Explosion damage. It has nothing to do with it whatsoever. It will not affect Poison Explosion damage whatsoever, but it is getting a 20% additional increase in that damage. That's why she's doing more than Eleanor. But Eleanor has her place now, right? We have her as against Sorath, the Frost Spider, and the Doom Tower. We use her for her irresistible burn. And we can actually blow up some other bosses up in the Doom Tower as well. She does need a buff. We know she needs a buff. But it's good that she doesn't deal damage on this ability. We can't weak hit on it. We don't bring Zavia into other strong affinities because she can weak hit and then you will not do Poison Explosion. But here we don't have to worry about weak hitting, so we can basically bring her in up against anything and always blow up the poisons. But we're just going to do 20% less damage than Zavia because of that skill increase. Now, if she had increases down here that increase this skill damage, she could catch up to her if they added that to this. I don't want them to add more skill books to this, but if they did, it would be exactly the same. You're about to see all this information. All the tests were done on Dragon 16 Void Affinity. We used Arbiter as lead. That way it wouldn't confuse anybody. Even though increased attack will not affect your poison damage. No masteries. Masteries actually do increase poison damage, which is pretty cool. We'll look over that in a minute. Eleanor was doing 18,000 per poison stack. Zavia 21,000, almost 22. There is no fluctuation with Poison Explosion damage. No high or low like the normal hits that we get. It will always be the same. No accuracy is needed for Poison Explosion. Zavia dealing 20% more damage than Eleanor. We assume it's from the skill upgrades of +5, +5, +10 that we just went over. Zavia's skill description is very misleading. All Poison Explosion champions should have that same exact skill description. Attack, critical damage have no effect on Poison Explosion damage. The Great Hall Arena Standing, that as well has no effect on Poison Explosion damage. A naked Zavia will do the same Poison Explosion damage as a geared Zavia. That's the red damage, not the yellow damage that we get from the actual hit, but the red damage of the Poison Explosion, which the millions that actually kill things. So we don't even have to worry about her having gear when we have a boss ready to die from a whole bunch of poisons. We just blow it up with Zavia. We don't even need accuracy for it, as long as we don't weak hit. Masteries that increase damage do increase Poison Explosion damage. So yesterday we had that video saying that she was doing 50% additional damage, and it's because of this 20% here from her skill. And then we were getting all that additional damage from Masteries. The yellow damage is from the ability. The poison damage is separate and is in red. Weaken does increase the Poison Explosion damage. 21,000 on Zavia to 27,000. 25% increase. Decreased defense, Helm Smasher, Savage Gear does not increase damage whatsoever. Poison Explosion damage. Yes, it increases a lot of other damage, but not Poison Explosion damage. This will be fast to show you everything we just went over, and then we're going to do that naked run right after this. This will only take a minute of multiple runs here at the very end, showing how many stacks we have. So if you counted each of those stacks, it would have been 11. That's the damage we did. That's our 18,000. This is, again, another one with 12, a different run. Again, 18,000, always the same. Now, we had Masteries on Zavia. We took the Masteries off. This is all Dragon 16 Void Affinity. It's all going to be the same. We've got the stacks up. We count how many there are. And the damage done right here, divided by 12, 21,817 per poison stack. Now, we're going to do it again. We did this many times on stream again today. So, 21,817. Again, the same. Now, this is with weaken up. Decreased defense does not matter. This is with weaken up. No masteries again. Same thing we just read over. And here's what we have. We have the 25% weaken. We have that divided by 8, 27,000. And then before, without a weaken, we had 21,000. And if you do the math, it is 25%. So everything checks out. Let's get into that naked run and we can talk more about both of these champions. Before we get into that run, let's talk about masteries that were affecting our poison explosion damage. This is what I had on Zavia before. That's not affecting it. Crit rate, critical damage is not affecting it. 5% additional damage when full HP. I think this was affecting it. This is the other skills I had on her. 8% from the first hit on each enemy. Well, if the first hit is her doing that poison explosion, I think that was affecting it. If not, I'm not sure, because over here, 6% when they have higher max HP than you. So we've got 6, 5, and 8. Then we also had this on Zavia. Now, Zavia clears waves. So she's going to get an overall 12% increase in damage. 5 here, 8 here, 12 on this one, and 5 over here. 31% additional damage overall. But she didn't always get the first hit. Sometimes she would come in there and do an A1 or an A2, and we'd have to wait. And then we would do her A3. So if we didn't get this 8%, I mean, we still got a large amount if all this is adding up. I don't know the exact ones that are doing it, but I can tell you that we were getting about a 30% increase in damage by having these masteries. And again, Helm Smasher, Flawless Execution, they will not increase it at all. But these do increase it. This is where we were getting that additional damage on that previous video. This is why we thought Zavia was doing 50% more damage on bosses than Eleanor was doing, when really she's just doing 20% additional because we needed to make sure they both had their masteries off. So it's pretty cool that we know that we can increase our poison damage with masteries in here. Let's remove our gear off of Zavia and go have some fun with her in the dragon dungeon to show you that she can blow up the dragon with what she has on right now. It's amazing what we can do. Like, we can really put minimal gear on her and put her in a great team and still beat this dragon very easily. I want to do a video on that. I want to see what kind of gear, like the minimalist gear we can put on Zavia to come in here with a decent team, maybe with 2 renegades, a Taurus, a War Maiden, and see what we can make happen to take down these waves, next wave, and then kill the dragon. So here we are. We're going to get to see it all come together. So just remember, when you're building Eleanor or you're building your Zavia or Karam, doesn't matter. Whatever does your poison, that attack and critical damage do not matter whatsoever. It's only going to matter for the yellow damage that you do, and you still want to hit hard, right? You always want to hit hard. So build your champion normally. Just put a decent amount of attack, a decent amount of critical damage, get the speed you need, and then of course, yes, even though we can poison explosion without accuracy, you still want accuracy. Zavia does poisons on the A2. She does poisons on her A1. So you still want to have accuracy on that champion. But you don't have to, right? We don't have to have it because we're running through right now without it. without any of it. We've got accuracy on our Taurus, of course, to get it up. We've got accuracy on our Bad L to get up all these poisons. But now we have up all these poisons. Zavia's got no gear on. She's got no accuracy. I'm counting all the stacks right now to see how many we have. And guess what? This dragon's going to die. Stage 20, gone. Millions. Million something. Dragon is dead. Zavia had nothing on her and good to go. And we could do the same thing with Eleanor. She's just going to do 20% less damage than Zavia. And then if you want to get that extra damage from her on those masteries, you'd have to get some kills in there. So it's harder for Eleanor to really push past those parts, but she can. That's what we've got, everyone. Please let me know if you think this information was useful. I appreciate all your time and your support. Please subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you all on a video.